Greetings, brothers and sisters. Shalom, assalamu alaikum, ad nastana. Pleasure to be back with you here on Points of Light Radio. And, in this particular segment of Points of Light Radio, we're going to be discussing a conversation I had with Anthony McCool from Coolest Life Masonic Podcast. In it, he talked about his disagreement with some of the writings of Albert Pike on religion and Freemasonry. So I'm going to show you that clip, and then we're going to move forward, and I'll show you another clip with another former guest of mine.
Scottish Rite is a great example. They tend to follow the beliefs and teachings and really enjoy the Albert Pike. Okay, so Albert Pike is a well-known philosopher within Scottish Rite. Well, it doesn't mean that every person within Scottish Rite believes everything that Albert Pike, sanctioned or believed in. In fact, Albert Pike even once called it the religion of Masonry, and I absolutely hate that term.
Yeah.
And if I could speak to him, I would have told him where he was insanely wrong about even calling religion and Masonry in the same sentence. I think that's one thing that kind of pushes people away and it makes people think that, well, a Christian can't be a Mason because Masonry is a religion. Well, it's not a religion, know. So
no fraternal organization was ever meant to replace your place of worship or your religious belief. So this next clip I'm going to show you is of a conversation I had with Julian Reese. He's a Masonic book author. He talks about how he left the Grand Lodge of England. He'd been in the Grand Lodge of England since 1968, but he left the Grand Lodge of England over his disagreements with the Grand Master of the Grand Masonic Lodge of England because of his disagreements over the Grand Master's stand on spirituality in Freemasonry. So let's take a look at that.
I resigned from UGLE in 2011 and joined the International Order of Freemasonry for Men and Women Le Droit Humain, of which I am currently a member.
What caused that decision, if you don't mind me asking?
Not at all. The Deputy Grand Master in 2011, in September, during a speech to Grand Lodge, said that Freemasonry wasn't a religion. He's absolutely correct there, that it wasn't a substitute for or alternative for religion. Absolutely correct. But then he said, Freemasonry most certainly does not deal in spirituality. And that ran so counter to everything which I had understood about Freemasonry. And thousands of Freemasons worldwide were horrified at his remark. I wrote him a letter because I knew him very well, Jonathan Spence, and asked him to elucidate and reminded him that many of us did not agree with that point of view. But he didn't reply. I got a reply from the Grand Secretary saying that he'd received my letter and that my views were noted. And that was all. So I resigned.
So I was driving home from church and started I don't know whether you've ever had those, that kind of inspiration, but yeah. I got thinking about this conversation. That's where the genesis for this segment came up. But, I could not help but, as I was driving along, ask myself those questions about the faith aspect or the religious aspect and the spiritual aspect of Freemasonry. Okay? Now, I do know that many in Freemasonry say, as Mr. McCool said, they're not a religion, but under the same token, faith or religion and spirituality, are we talking about different things here? Are they mutually exclusive? Can you have faith or spirituality without religion? Right? From my studies, I understand that James 2:17 says, even so faith, if it hath not works, is dead being alone. But that's works. Okay? But can religion exist without spirituality? Right? And can one separate Freemasonry from religion and spirituality? Right? If Freemasonry is about making good men better, right? Can it help with the spiritual aspect of a man? Is that what it's there to do? Right? What do you think? Especially you Freemasons, I want to hear what you think. So let me know in the comment section, brothers and sisters, especially you Freemasons, right? I want to hear from you. So, right, tell me what you think in the comment section, and let's have this discussion. And I'll leave it there.